Hey everybody, it's Sean here with NSN and welcome back to another episode of NSN Coffee Talks with Sean. I'm Sean Fullerton with NSN Management, and this week we have been focusing on what we refer to as sensible security. And again, just to kind of summarize sensible security to us here at NSN is security steps that you and your business can take to manage the security of your information and your assets and resources without becoming overly burdensome. Just to give you an example, here's a document. This is the small business information from NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology from the U.S. Department of Commerce. This particular document is, I don't know how many pages, and this is the small one. That just talks about security steps and things that small businesses should take. And there's a whole number of those. So what I wanted to do today is I want to just kind of wrap up and talk about, some of the things that are in that document, and specifically just run through a couple slides as it relates to how to identify risks and what some of those are. So let me pull those up. Very first thing is understanding actually what risks are. So let's go run through some terms that you're going to hear me use. A threat. Anything that might negatively affect your information that your business needs to run. This could be your accounting data, if you're doing e-commerce, if your e-commerce site, customer information, your data files, marketing information, information you need as a business owner or a staff member, a team member, or employee at a company needs to effectively do your job. That's the kind of information we're talking about. Anything that would negatively impact the ability for you to do your job, if you don't have that information, would be considered a threat. Vulnerability. What are the different vulnerabilities a weakness that could be used to harm your particular business? It could be everything from we have an open Wi-Fi, we don't have a lock on our door, the light outside. Our front door doesn't work. I mean, whatever the different things that could be vulnerabilities. And another one is the likelihood. Now, this is the one that I think that trips up most small businesses, because most small businesses go, no one cares who I am. They're not going to bother me. And probably 10 years ago, that probably was the case, and 5 years even, that was the case. The likelihood that a small business would really get attacked was probably smaller than it is today. Today, they don't care. The bad actors don't really, doesn't matter who you are. You have resources, you have money, and things are going to get taken. And you are more likely today than you were to be attacked. And then the impact. What's the potential harm to the business of that threat and that vulnerability? So let's take a look. Now, one of the things that you do is you have to identify and prioritize this information. And if you're interested, we have some spreadsheets and things that we can give you to help you with that process. But you literally have to go through and identify what information your business stores and uses. Everything from here's the customer data, here's the marketing data, here's the files, the shares, the resources, all that information. Where is it? How's it stored? And how do we keep track of it? And then you have to determine the value of that information. What would happen if that information became public? Your accounting information, your customer data, credit card information, social security, personal health information. What would happen if that particular information became public? Or what would happen to your business if that information was incorrect? Let's talk about billing data, information, invoices, accounts receivable data, bank account information. What if all of a sudden that became incorrect? And now you didn't have accurate data anymore? What would happen to your business if you or your customers couldn't access the information? Let's not so much worry about whether it was public or not, or whether it's incorrect, but you simply can't get to it. If you're a plumbing contractor and you can't get to your scheduling software, you can't actually dispatch your trucks, or you're a real estate business and you can't get to your customer information or deal paperwork or contracts, what would you do and how would that impact you? So it's really important that you develop a plan on how to handle all these. And here's 5 steps or 5 pieces that you really look at. So you identify your information that is at risk after you prioritize it, because we don't put in the same controls for, let's say, a marketing flyer. if a marketing flyer gets out there, gets made public, well, that's kind of the point of a marketing flyer. So you're not too worried about, okay, if someone steals my marketing flyer and gets out public. So you have to identify and prioritize that. And then you develop a plan to protect that data. And again, you'll have not all data is the same, and the priority and the value of that information is not necessarily the same. So you do want to protect that appropriately. Again, back to that sensible security. You also want to put in steps to detect the threats and the vulnerabilities as it relates to IT resources and where that data is stored. You want to respond. When and if a breach happens or something happens, a threat actually gets through a vulnerability, how do you respond? And then how do you recover from that? So that what happens is, instead of, oh my goodness, we can't access this, you have a well-documented plan. Okay, great. We know where this is. We know what's going to happen. That documented plan's in multiple places. It's not just on the computer that you no longer can access. It's also printed plan. And so those are some of the things that you look at to figure out those. So, having these plans and identifying that information, again, back to this great little document here. If anyone's interested, be more than happy to put a comment below and I'll get it to you. But here at NSN, we've got steps to help you put together those plans. And that's an important part of any IT department and IT vendor, is to have plans to help you identify your information, protect that information, respond, recover. All of those are important characteristics. So I hope you found this week helpful with security. I know there's so much more you can get into with it, and there are sensible security steps you can take to keep your environment and your resources protected and your business protected. Because I know for us here at NSN, we take protecting our customers' IT resources seriously, because what it really means to us is, if a business is down, we're now affecting a lot of families' livelihoods. And that's important. Family is one of our top 6 values that we live by here. And we want to make sure that when we are doing our jobs, we're protecting your business and your staff and their livelihood and their families and their children and all those that go along with it. So again, thank you so much for taking time this week to spend some time with me, and look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks.